Hey everyone, Charlie from Play Games here, and today we are covering something that I got a request from Sloimay to do, and I'm sure a bunch of you would also love to hear about lag efficient instant redstone. Now before we get to the actual meat of the video, I really have to bring this up. So with a setup like this, you can basically ripple without adding additional delay or circuit. How it works is that when I trigger this, as you see all three of the observers turn on. But the update order goes a little bit like this. So first this observer triggers, which updates these rails from here to here to here to here to here. And only then it goes downwards and repeats it from here. And like this, you can do A plus B, check if there's a carry downwards, and do A plus B plus carry, and repeat and repeat. Now of course, if you made a circuit with this, the control lines would have to be on top using walls, and it would have to ripple from top to bottom. Why I don't see an issue with this is because it's simply better in every way. The control lines can be as long as you want, there can be as many bits as you want, and overall it's just much more efficient. And here is an example of that being used. As you see over here, I have a priming wall that uses this exact mechanic alongside with rails to perform operations in a certain order. Now just to prove that it works, how about we do an example. Alright, let's do 3 plus 5. Pull the priming lever. Tick step 10, aka 5 redstone ticks, and as you see, 3 plus 5 is 0, 0, 0, 1, which is 8. So first of all, what is redstone lag? What redstone lag is practically a latency in TPS. So if there is a TPS below 20 unintentionally, we would call it lag. Now lag depends on a bunch of factors, but mostly what we'll be looking at today is how many updates per second there is of a certain contraption. For example, dust is one of the least efficient redstone components. So if you were to turn this on, this would update this entire glass area of blocks on both sides. This area was open so I could trigger it 15 times. So it goes from signal strength 0 to 15, not at once, but it goes like from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, up to 15, which is why it's incredibly inefficient, and which is why big lag machines have a lot of dust, will often have a lot of dust in them. Now, the two main systems for lag efficient instant redstone that come to mind are comparator primed logic and rail wire. Rail wire being just for transportation of information. It looks a little bit like this. There is variation, but this is the best, most rigid design that I could find. Basically how it works is by having basically suspended a rail, and whenever you update it, shuts off, but the observers turn it back on within 2 game ticks, or a redstone tick. If I do tick freeze, what you'll see is that all of that turns off, which updates the observers, and it repeats the cycle. But how do we do lag efficient logic? Well, we do it with something called comparator priming, specifically side priming. Now, this is the most lag efficient way to do it. With comparator priming, there's a lot of ways to do it in a lag efficient manner, but this avoids any dust flickering, and basically it only uses observers, which are one of the most lag efficient components. So for this example, I'm gonna prime all of these comparators and have a signal pass through all of them from there, and let's do it. / tick freeze. First that observer, then that, then that, then that, then that, and after that the repeater has a certain priority anyway. So tick step. And in the next 2 ticks, it's gonna pass directly through. As you saw, these observers have no way of interfering with this signal, and what was outputted at this repeater passed through all of them. And if I were to have a subtraction of something over here, for example, that will get subtracted, and it all works because of the order. Now, while this is an alternative way that you could do it, it is not equivalently efficient. And why that is because of this dust here and this dust here. Now also assuming that these comparators will have processes in between them, that is additionally why it is not equally efficient and equally feasible to use in a less laggy manner. So if I do / tick freeze, and I do that. Now if you check, that is getting power there and there because of the observers. But in the next tick, it does pass through. And even if I lower the signal strength here by simply moving this repeater there, you'll see that a 14 does pass through, which I will now demonstrate. Now, there are sometimes circumstances in which you would want to prime them in this way, other than the side comparator way. Of course, you can also have dust connecting to the comparators, and there's a bunch of other ways which you can connect them. Now, for example, here is a primable XOR gate, and you see it's very big, and that is because I want the observers to go into the side of these comparators. Now, why it's this big is because you don't want the comparators to ever fully shut off if you need to prime them from the side, which, as you see here, would be it being on, doesn't ever happen. Same with this design. However, this design has the observers not going directly into the comparators, but it looks a bit like this. Now over here I have a comparator primed half adder that uses a bit of a different priming method. So how exactly does this half adder work? Well, it works using priming, of course. And as you see here, I have inputs A and B. They both go into this XOR, which also goes out here into the OR, which is cancelled by the XOR, which produces XOR and. So based off of this, we can assume that, well, priming goes a little bit like this. This observer goes off first within the game tick, and it primes these two comparators from the back, and this one as well. So afterwards, we are left with OR here and XOR here. Now, the XOR, of course, comes in the next ticks, and the observer here primes this and that. Now that it primes by trying to cancel the one signal strength. Now, since this will always have some signal strength coming into it, the priming always functions, and this, it will increase the signal strength no matter what, alongside with here. So why don't we test this? So the game is currently frozen. I'm gonna turn on A and B, and then prime this observer first and this observer next. And as you see, it's currently being primed. What we should see is the AND turning on and the XOR not doing anything, which is exactly what happens. Now if we prime it once more, and say only do one, we see the exact opposite. 11 coming here, and 2, well, this would, of course, go out to here, right? Because it cancels it, and it still has signal strength, so you can still prime this, right? Which performs its operation perfectly. And with this, I just showcased another very useful mechanic. This is 5 Hertz. Yeah, it is. You could do 5 operations per second on this instantly, and well, with a full adder like this, you could have it ripple downwards using walls, basically infinitely. So you could do infinite bit operations, 5 Hertz, instantly. So how much of this dust would have to flash every 2 ticks or every tick for this to do 5 Hertz operation? Well, why don't we look at that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, the exact amount of comparators you'd be priming. This is a very compact and very neatly organized arrangement, and it works very well. Of course though, yes, when you put a bunch of redstone onto something, it's going to lag and it's going to have latency. But priming isn't as horrible as people think it is, and in most cases it works pretty well without any additional delay. Especially in vanilla redstone with vanilla tick rate, that being 20 per second, it can accelerate and, well, increase the performance of many circuits very well. Now that's everything I had to say for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join my Discord server. And see you next video. Have a great day.